After trying an abundance of strategies for success, I have discovered the one and only formula you need to succeed. Tune into this edition of Thursday's Thought as I share my honest experience with using this formula to create success. And make sure you stick around until the end, where I offer tips to help you put it all into practice so you can create the success that you desire in your own life. Today's episode is sponsored by How to Conquer Your Bullshit with CPR. This is my free training that will help you bring your message to the masses. Sign up for the free training at rubyfremont.com/CPR. Whether you're new to the podcast or a loyal thought leader, please make sure to drop a rating and review on iTunes. And bonus points, hit me up on social media and let me know if you've done it, and I'll give you a shout out. My social media handle is at @IamRuby. Now, are you ready to hear more about the one and only formula you need to succeed? Let's fucking do this. Welcome to today's Thought Leader, where I'm challenging you to rise up, speak up, and create a movement. I'm your host, Ruby Fremont, and I'm here as a catalyst for you, the new generation of thought leaders. Join me every week as I dive into raw and real conversations that will help you amplify your presence, influence, and impact. Hey, thought leaders. So I want to get a little personal with you today and also share the only formula that you need to succeed. And this formula is something that I realized through my experience as an entrepreneur. So what you may not know is that my entrepreneurial journey started years ago. It started in 2002 when I created my own wedding makeup and aesthetics business. So I had a home-based aesthetics salon, and I also had a mobile makeup business where I specialized in doing Indian weddings. I'm Indian, and it was a specialty for me. Indian weddings paid a lot more. They were a much bigger time commitment, but in the summer, I could make upwards of $2,000 a weekend just doing Indian brides and their bridal party. So I've always had this entrepreneurial gene in me, and I thank my dad for that gene. He's been an entrepreneur in the majority of his life, and a very successful one at that. He showed me through his presence that anything becomes possible when you put your mind to it, when you put the effort into it, when you really believe in it. So I guess I have to credit my dad for this formula, although I'm the one who really put it into words. I'll give him that, though. I'll give him that. So before I dive into the formula, a little bit more about my history as an entrepreneur. I have always experienced great success as an entrepreneur, and I say that humbly. And I also want to emphasize that that didn't come easy. I always had this strong will and determination. Like when I have a goal and when it feels aligned with my heart, I will do whatever the fuck it takes to go after it. And I know that this is one of my superpowers. And another superpower is resiliency. I mean, in fact, this is my number one superpower. I've shared about this in some of the earlier episodes of this podcast. But I am resilient as fuck. Like anytime I've encountered failure, which is a lot of times, thought leaders, like a lot, I have cultivated the resilience to bounce back up. And not just that, but to recognize the lessons within that failure and apply them and integrate them to move forward. So I've been pretty savvy, I guess you could say, with my entrepreneurial endeavors. After doing the makeup and aesthetics business, I started a social media marketing and strategy boutique agency. This was in 2012, after working in marketing and promotions for a nightlife and also working with a social media and branding agency. I branched out and created my own because, quite frankly, at the agency that I was working at, there was a lot of clients that I just didn't align with. And their accounts would be given to me, and I would be expected to do their social media, to run their social media and marketing from their tone, from their voice. And I really just didn't align with these brands. It didn't have the heart. So I left the agency and took a big fucking risk and started my own. And because I left the agency pretty abruptly, I really had only 2 months of savings left, and I had a mortgage to pay, and I had my own personal expenses. So within those 2 months, I mean, giving myself a 2-month window, first of all, was the fire I needed under my ass to get me moving, because those 2 months I fucking hustled. And I hustled with heart. You know, there's a difference between hustling and hustling with heart. A lot of entrepreneurs talk about the hustle. And I know that a lot of you don't necessarily align with it. It doesn't feel good when you're hustling, but there is a difference between just straight up hustling and hustling with heart. What I did when I left the social media agency to start my own was I hustled with heart. I went after brands that I felt fully aligned with. I turned down companies that I just didn't really care for. And I hustled with heart, with passion, keeping the end goal in mind, knowing that I really wanted to support these brands and getting their messages out there in a big way. And funny enough, now that I say that out loud, I can see how it's totally related to the work that I do today, in being that I support visionaries and purpose-driven leaders and creatives to get their messages out there in a big way. So I've always been a catalyst for people to use their voices in that way. And well, I digress. Let me get back on topic here. So as I was running the social media agency, man, did I learn a lot. I learned that effort is really required. I mean, first of all, it felt like I was getting a constant flow of interest from potential clients. So that part was easy. And it was because of the work I did in the background for years. You know, I was working as a nightlife promoter for years. And so I created a really strong network of connections who then, when they saw me branch out and create my own social media marketing agency, wanted to work with me. So yes, I got clients really easy with that company. And I did all the fucking work to get myself to a place where I could attract those clients with ease. And I emphasize this because despite how easy things look for other people, there is always something that went in to create that sense of ease. This is when I really started to understand the value of effort and the longevity of effort. So in this formula for success that I'm sharing with you, effort is the first piece. This is about doing the fucking work and not always expecting immediate results, right? For me, in those years that I worked as a marketing and promotions director in nightlife, it was 8 years I did that. I created partnerships, relationships, friendships, connections that I nurtured over those years. And at that time, I wasn't really getting anything out of it. But then when I opened up my social media marketing agency, they became clients because they knew me, they trusted me. So effort doesn't always deliver an immediate result, but it will. It always will. When we make the effort tied to an expectation of getting something right away, it's because we've become addicted to the dopamine hit of immediate results. And that's not always the case when you have your own business. When you're pursuing your purpose, this isn't always the case. Longevity is the game. You want to be in this for the long run. So trying to apply quick fixes or strategies that are going to give you immediate results but no longevity, like that is going to kill your fucking brand and demolish your presence. So in order to create success from a place of integrity, from a place of heart, you have to put in the effort day in and day out without the tied expectation of creating immediate results, and simply knowing that the effort will lead to his results. Do the fucking work and do it every single fucking day. Now, the second piece of this formula, man, did I learn this early. All my life, I felt like I believed in something more powerful than me. Like it was hard for me to believe in myself in the past, but it was easier for me to believe in something else, God, the universe, whatever it was. And it wasn't until about 2012 when I hit rock bottom. And if you want to hear that story, go back to episode 1. But in 2012, I hit rock bottom, and I really took a hard, long look at my life and realized that it was an accumulation of my choices that had got me there. And I was making these choices due to what I believed about myself. I didn't feel worthy. I didn't feel like I deserved success or happiness or joy. And so I would make these choices that led me to design a life that was downright miserable. I didn't have that belief in myself or my ability to make it happen. And that's the second part of this formula. It's belief. 2012 was the year when I started to cultivate that belief within myself. I realized that if it was an accumulation of my choices that led me to where I was, that place in misery, then what would happen if I chose differently? Well, in order to choose differently, I need to believe something different. I need to believe a different story. I need to believe that I'm fucking capable. I need to believe that I'm fucking worth it. And I need to believe that I have the fucking will, determination, and talent to make it happen. Belief is about adopting an unshakable conviction. It's about you being convinced that you have the talent, that you have the will, that you have the skill to make it happen. That's what belief is all about. And when you tie effort with belief, holy shit, do you have a formula for success? But the formula I'm sharing with you today has one more piece to it, which is going to amplify your ability to design that success for yourself. So the third piece of this formula is support. Now, this is something that I've been diving into over the last year because I, Ruby Fremon, admit that I have been an awful receiver and asker for support. I don't ask for support. That was my story. I don't ask for support because people don't support me. And maybe you feel the same. Maybe you have something similar. I mean, I feel like we as human beings all have a similar story about support. Many of us do share the story that we feel unsupported due to some specific experience that we lived through in our life, and you'll be able to pinpoint what that is. It was probably a time in your life, some sort of trauma where you felt completely unsupported. And for me, up until about 2018, I carried that story. Like, no one supports me. I would legit say, no one supports me, and then cry my eyes out in my office. When really I had a lot of support around me. I just wasn't looking at it. Support is about choosing to see those who support you and ignoring the rest, or even better yet, removing the rest from your inner circle. And when I say inner circle, I mean the people who you keep around you, the people who you have on speed dial, the people who you reach out to, the people who you lean into, the people who you have regular conversations with. And if you don't have these people, start identifying who they could be. Having the right support, recognizing who they are. This is the third piece to my formula for success, because let's face it, there are days when you're going to feel like you can't do this. There are days when you're going to feel like you want to give up. There are days when you're going to forget just how talented you are. And there are days when you're going to forget the power of the gifts that you have, the gifts that you hold within you. And to have support around you, the right support, people who actually see you and recognize your gifts, that can provide that ignition of passion. It can reignite your soul in that moment just by leaning in. The only formula you need to succeed is the one I've shared with you today. And it's effort, belief, and support. You need to do the fucking work and make the effort every single day without the attachment to immediate results, and just knowing and understanding that eventually the effort is going to be worth it. You need to adopt an unshakable conviction, a true, unwavering belief in yourself and your ability to make it happen. And you need to recognize your support system. Who are the people that you choose to keep closest to you? The people that you choose to put into your inner circle, the people that you choose to confide in, the people that you choose to lean on. Effort, belief, and support. That's all you need to create success. I can assure you, after running businesses, what was it, like 3 businesses now? It's not just the strategies or the marketing. I mean, all of that helps for sure. But if it wasn't for my effort, my belief, and my support system, I can assure you, I would not be achieving the things that I'm achieving today. So I have homework for you. Number 1, identify your support system. Who are the people who actually truly honor you and see your gifts? Who are the people that see you? Identify those people, make an actual fucking list. And then on the flip side, identify the people who you feel don't actually support you for real. They have shown you that they do not support you and they do not see you. And create that list so that you know who you need to release from your inner circle. Next, you're going to commit to making effort every single damn day. The One Thing is a phenomenal book. I highly recommend it. And it's all about focusing on one thing. And I like to take this into my daily life. So what is one thing that I'm going to accomplish today? One thing that I'm determined to make happen today. And that is a great thing to ask yourself every single day in order to make that effort daily. And then when it comes to belief, here's a journaling prompt for you. I believe ... It's just that simple. And then let yourself fucking flow. If you make the effort every single day, if you shift into an unshakable conviction that it is fucking possible and that you can fucking do it, and if you surround yourself with the right support, you will undoubtedly create that success that you desire in your life. So do your fucking homework. Come back at me. Let me know how it goes. I'm on all the social media platforms. You can find me at I Am Ruby, most frequently on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. I want to thank you so much for joining me on another edition of Today's Thought Leader. And this was an episode of Thursday's Thought. Are you guys digging these episodes, first of all? Let me know, because I'm finding that they're really fun. And I would love to hear from you. So I'm challenging you to rise up, speak up, and create a movement. And I'm challenging you to do that daily. If you're ready to take this up a notch and you want a little more from me and you want to continue to embrace your evolution into leadership and bring your message to the masses, I encourage you to download my free training. It is free. You have no excuses. rubyfremont.com/CPR. And of course, as always, be sure to drop a rating and review on iTunes. Again, if you have any questions or just want to reach out and let me know how it goes with the homework, reach out to me at I Am Ruby, and check back in on Monday for a brand new episode of Today's Thought Leader.